you actually motivated when you watch Denise studying?
And I'm gonna put out another one soon.
When you hear students using AI, are they cheating or are we using AI to survive?
It is cheating if it is not allowed.
I guess Denise is against AI.
Welcome back to the Gap and the Grind. As usual, I am your host Denise.
And I'm Precious.
If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere, don't forget to give us 5 stars. Also share. Don't forget to check out our socials. Precious, how was your week? How are you doing?
Doing great. My week has been amazing. It's been pretty great. Been trying out new restaurants. Um, been trying out new food as well. It's been great, to be honest, and it's also been more of getting into well, the first week, basically the first work week of the year. It's been quite busy. That's in regards to work. Other than that, the other part of life has been amazing. Yep.
My week was just getting into school again. It's been a tad bit stressful, but it's definitely different from what my first semester was, considering I was currently getting into two schools then. So this feels different, but I'm also more motivated to push through. Yeah, but nothing more to say there. So, talking of school, something that has been going on, something that has been in my mind the past few weeks or known has just been study talk. You know how students are now all doing this thing, all watching this thing about, study talk, right? I don't even know how to explain it.
Hmm.
But it's just all these nice aesthetic videos of other people studying with me. Come study with me. It's people setting up and whatnot.
Denise, I feel like I have one of those videos.
I do. So I almost feel like I'm talking about myself as well.
Mhm.
It's very, but that's, I just want to get your take on this. Is watching those study with me clips or whatever actual motivation?
Is it motivation to study in a clean place?
Or
Is it motivational to study in an organized place? I guess it would be, but for me, watching those videos when I had my finals, was it motivation enough for me to study harder or study a bit more? No, it wasn't.
but then what was it to you then? Because the funny thing is sometimes even when we are like, oh, it's not motivation enough, or at least that kind of motivation, we almost still stick to it. People have for you pages that are just full of that kind of thing.
You know what? I guess when I look at one video and I'm like, okay, I'm going to study, then no, it wouldn't be motivation. But then if you say your feed is full of such videos, if your feed has such videos, the study videos and everything, you are and you do what your mind is full of. So if your mind is full of that, then I guess to a certain extent you're going to be motivated to do that. You could be motivated to do that, but will you actually do it? Because it's one thing to get motivated. So before I'd go to school, I'd watch all these videos on motivation and everything. And there were these guys, the US Navy SEALs, and they had one of these sayings that would be like, the seemingly small things matter. So it was more like the more you motivate yourself, those little videos that you watch, um the more of them you take in, maybe to a certain extent they could motivate you. So it's more like, okay, I'd wake up in the morning, and if I laid my bed, that would be a small thing that would matter, so I would maybe that would help me throughout the day. So I guess it does help to a certain extent, but not fully.
Yeah. I mean, being a student, I have fallen for study talk as well, considering I made a video. as well. Of course, there's the aesthetic side of it where someone's like set up for a study session with me, then they put their pens and it's all, what's the word, ASMR. Those ones I'm like, well, that's more aesthetic. But then they put like, study with me for a midterm or whatnot. I don't think it is as motivational because I also think sometimes it's almost a, you get the motivation for like the first few minutes of, I saw someone studying, so I decided to study as well. But you can, it's almost because it was almost a I think of it as a dopamine hit, but I don't know if that's the right way to say it or that's what I should call it. But it, how long does it motivate you to study for? I think is what I'm getting at. Watching someone else's aesthetic studying vlog can motivate you to a degree. Let's just start studying. But if you need that to get you to keep studying, you're going to need that boost or hit every few minutes because you apparently can't do it almost on your own. There's this thing in neuroscience which I'm not 100% sure about, but it's about something about, I want to say mirror neurons. Oh God, Lord. But when you see someone else almost doing something and they get satisfaction from it, let's say they are studying and you're watching someone studying, your brain almost fires the same neurons as them, so you get a satisfaction of, of someone who has studied even without studying. So when you're watching these videos and you're kind of like, oh, it's so aesthetic, and you just keep watching, you almost, you end it not feeling so bad about yourself almost because say your videos has been full of brain rot, then you switch to something like those. The more you watch, you almost get some degree of satisfaction, but without doing any work. So I don't think it's, I think it's motivational to a degree, but I think it's more, it's ruining the way we study.
I think it is.
A follow-up question on that is just, has short form content ruined our ability to deep focus? Can anyone actually read, say, a textbook anymore?
It's definitely hard for people to do that because again, I've heard of people saying that I am going to go to TikTok and find a short video explaining this, or I'm going to go to ChatGPT, feed this information in, and it will explain it to me in the simplest way ever. So definitely, people are taking in the short form message a bit better and cannot go on with huge textbooks. It's the same way people say that I cannot watch a movie anymore. Well, I can't watch a movie because it's too long. I'll just go to TikTok
Mm,
and scroll and, have the short 30-second videos and end up staying on TikTok for over 2 hours.
yeah, I agree with a lot of it because once again I think this is now more and this is the better way to describe the dopamine hit that we've gotten used to because of TikTok. It gives a dopamine hit every 15 seconds, every 10 seconds. A study, I think I read it in Nature Communications. Oh my god, if I got that wrong, I will put the right name up here when I find the study again because I actually don't remember. But it was just talking about, and I think there are so many studies regarding this. And and the funny thing is, I've also seen so many things about this on TikTok as well.
On TikTok.
Yeah, so it's that thing of, yeah, when we expect a dopamine hit every 15 seconds, reading in a textbook isn't going to give you that.
No, it's not.
It's not. So you almost want to run back to again those short form content things because our brains have been trained to almost rely on those. It's almost like we're addicted to it, and now you're going to have to go every single time you're trying to almost prevent it, or you get bored while reading. It's almost like you're in that withdrawal stage. So I think we are not bad students or anything. We are just addicted to social media. We're even
We
learning apparently from social media.
we are learning from social media.
I know.
I remember when I used to have exams,
Yeah.
my final semester. I I had these textbooks, but then if I knew I had 2 days to the exam, I wouldn't read the textbook. I would, if there was anything that I didn't understand, I just feed the prompt into ChatGPT.
Mm.
I would like explain this to me, outline the stuff. Um, something that I probably would have done on my own if, well, after I had read the textbook and made summaries and everything. But no, I preferred the short form. So I think as a generation and as human beings in general, we are going down the drain.
Someone could argue, is that, like a bad thing in a sense? Because, okay, when you look at it in the sense of, okay, I didn't read the textbook, I got short form content about what I was supposed to know. I still, one or the other, got the knowledge I needed. So, is it necessarily a bad thing that I'm getting my knowledge this way if I'm still getting the knowledge?
Is it bad for you? No, it's not, because you've gotten it in the
Mm-hmm.
fastest way possible. You've saved so much time. If you wanted to do some other things, then well and good. It saved you from going through a whole bunch of stuff that would have been useless. Or if your aim is to just pass the examination, then it saved you a lot of time. But it's also that sometimes when we are learning, we need to get deeper knowledge so that we actually know the root of what what is going to be examined. The point is not to just get examined if you actually want to be proficient in what you are studying or learning about. So I guess there are pros to that and there are cons as well.
My last question regarding this topic, the effects of the effects, if any, of checking your phone when you're studying, almost like interrupting the deep focus. Because once again, in this life we are in, as much as we can all want, the ideal situation would be that, oh, I'm studying, my phone is in do not disturb, I'm not gonna pick up any phone calls. But deep focus could last 4 5 hours. Usually we're not going to put our phones in do not disturb for 4 5 hours. Emergencies, things happen. What do you think are the biggest issues with that?
Um, we have people with different attention spans. We have people with different attention levels. I'll speak for myself. I don't think I have the highest. I don't think I had the highest attention span. If I decide to open my phone and probably go through texts, go through text messages,
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely look at all the other text messages that I have, in spite of the fact that I don't usually look at them. But because I'm studying, I will definitely look at all the other text messages that I have. And if I've decided to probably go onto, say, TikTok to look for something, I'm definitely going to go astray and start looking at other videos before I actually look at what I wanted to look at. So I think it does affect you depending on your attention span.
Apparently it takes you about 20 minutes, give or take three, to get back to that deep focus. So if you're checking your phone every 15 minutes, you're not actually ever studying, you're just skimming the surface. Because I understand the whole principle of deep focus, as in, when I'm just starting to study, me as well, it takes me a while. It's like 30 minutes in is when I fully almost reach the flow state. But before, I'm almost sluggish, almost want to pause and stop. But when you think of the fact that checking my phone for just a minute is almost going to take me back to zero, at least focus wise, I think that's scary for students who want to spend more time studying.
Yeah, it is. And I get to, one of the things that I actually got to see was back in high school, we wouldn't take our phones to school. And I lucky do see the reason as to why. Because now that you have your phone with you, your life is in your hands. You know, no, you are taking charge for your failure. It's basically if I check my phone now and I have 4 hours to my exam, that's on me. But before, it was more like you had 3 hours to study. You were going to study throughout, unless you decided to actually go and use a washroom or do whatever nonsense you're not supposed to do. So, yeah.
I hear that part. And it's almost because when you think of the whole these breaks, someone could say, well, you need breaks. You're not going to study for 4 hours straight or 3 hours, but if someone could argue differently. Final exams in university, most of mine are usually set for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. I had those. I had plenty of those
So
in
when you say
class.
you're not going to focus for 3 hours, I'm like, what? So you're sort of almost training for a sprint. I was going to splint. You're training for a sprint when you're actually going to have to run a marathon. So if you can't even fully focus for 3 hours without having to check your phone apparently for the break, then I mean, really? One thing actually that I had forgotten to mention when we talked about the whole study talk and motivation, I don't think watching the study talks is good for you. Yes, I've actually seen so many people comment on different study talk videos about how thank you for posting new videos. They always motivate me to go study. But I'm like, just something to do for yourself, test yourself. How long do you focus after apparently watching that video? Can you focus for an hour fully without feeling the need to touch your phone to again apparently study talk? Because some people can say, yeah, but I don't brain rot. Again, my FYP is full of study talks. But when I filmed my study talk, my very first one, the study with me, it was good motivation. Ask me why. I did a time lapse for 5 hours. My phone's battery went low, I think somewhere 2 hours in. So I stopped, but I didn't actually stop because once it went out, I just plugged it in, continued. When it was fully charged, I put it back, continued filming, but it was a time lapse. I was able to do it for 5 hours. That was motivation because number one, I knew if I did put this video out, I was like, everyone's gonna be watching. I need to be serious. That was good motivation, knowing that this video is going out into the public. Because first it's like, what am I going to put out a study clip? You see people doing these time lapses and the hours times just going. I was like, am I going to put out 1 hour? It was almost like I'm competing with everyone else. But then I was like, can I say I studied for 5 if I didn't show the 5 hours? The whole reason I brought it up was just to say people who are filming this might be how
Motivated.
more motivated than you all because I experienced it myself. It is when you think everyone's going to see me, especially people who dedicate their accounts to this and having to post up a video or a study talk video every week, every 2 days. They do actually have to study to get the content or at least pretend. I don't even, it's not easy to pretend to study because you almost think, what if someone magnifies and says, oh, we found a fake study talk person or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you are actually doing the work for it, filming it and then putting it out. They do have the motivation, it is there. But when you're just watching the clips, you're not as motivated as you think. You cannot do what they did, study for 5 hours just like that because you watched their video. I don't know. But anyway, just something to think on as we get into, we are all back to school, as we think of new strategies, new ways to study, and get the grades we want.
Are you actually motivated when you watch Denise studying?
And I'm gonna put out another one soon. That's it from me, Precious.
And forget to watch Denise's study talk just so you can get motivation. Today on Culture Check, we'll be following up with a part of what we were talking about. Um, Earlier on, we used to say robots are taking over, but Right now, we are all scared, or are we? Are we scared or are we worried about AI? Is AI taking over? Has it already started taking over? Are you worried? Are you safe? Is your job safe? Is school teaching you how to use AI or are they fighting it? But before we submit our assignments, we had this thing where before you submit an assignment, actually, immediately after you submit it, there was this part that would tell you, that would detect how much AI is in the assignment, or you could what.
I think it's
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. There was this part that would detect how AI detector, but I don't know what it was called.
I actually think it's a plagiarism. I just realized most schools don't do the AI detector thing. We have it in most assignments. You do have to check. I agree, but it's more plagiarism.
Does it show like a percentage or
You
something?
would, yeah, for the profs to allow it. Say it shows the percentage. It even shows what papers you apparently plagiarized from and the statements exactly. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, for one or two of my classes, it was more of AI. It was something like
Mm.
an AI detector. So after you submit it, not even when you submit it, but after you submit it, it would probably show you like 11%,
Mhm.
2%, 10%. And I think it was, if it was over 8% or 10%, then you would have a problem. You would have a problem. Because I understand if you use like Grammarly to improve your grammars, it would definitely show up as AI. So it was something like that. And so this gets you thinking, when you hear students using AI, are they cheating or are we using AI to survive?
It is cheating if it is not allowed. I could try to green flag this anyway or package it in some other way, but if it's explicitly not allowed for anything and you use it, you cheated.
I guess Denise is against AI.
No, I'm not. I will get to that.
Well, for me, I think AI, depending on how you use it as well, but I think it's survival. To the point we've gotten at, AI is more of survival. It's more like if you don't know how to use AI, then you are doomed.
But that's different because when you say so, I understand. That's why I said I am not against AI. I think it's very important considering the where we're at, but we're talking more studies wise in an assignment. Is it survival when you've explicitly been told the use of AI in any portion of this assignment is not allowed?
Okay, yeah, studies wise. Okay, yeah. I The question was based in school.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be cheating because school is teaching you how to think on your own. And if you're incorporating AI, then you are cheating. You
Yeah.
are
And for the
a
people who
cheater.
argue survival, this I felt so bad about this whole thing because I sound like a certain kind of sin, but it's just what it is, honestly. But the only reason you need this the AI for survival in the first place is because you got your assignment late.
Hmm.
Let's be honest.
That's true.
Mm.
Or you have a whole bunch of things to do and you need AI to help you, and you don't have that much time. Okay, Father, do you think schools are preparing students for AI or are they fighting it?
Program I'm personally doing barely. It's more a fight against it, which I understand fully because being a science student, and right now I consider myself to be a beginner in the science world. Point is, these are the basics, the foundation that we need to know to survive in the science world. The use of AI in science isn't about people not knowing these basics anymore or the need for it. It's more about AI almost simplifying some tasks there are some tasks where AI is definitely very useful and has improved the system, but not when it comes to these basics. You still need to know them. So why? I understand why they don't encourage it in these programs or in these courses, but schools still do offer AI courses. So they've not ignored it. It's just they're not encouraging it in areas where it should not be encouraged. That I fully understand. And it took me a while because I think another part you're getting at was AI is important, right?
AI is important.
It
And
is.
for me, and that's where I do agree with you,
Mhm.
fully agree with you, but
But
I have a but. That's
then you
where
don't fully. So,
that's where it gets messy for me. I'm
yeah.
like, we're getting into this world because now that I'm into the corporate world, now that I'm into the working world, and of course, in school, I 100% agree. Schools are fighting AI.
Mhm.
But why are they doing that? Because when you move out, it's a bit hard for you to actually cope without AI because you realize that everywhere you're going, there is AI. AI is involved. And if you don't, then if you don't know how to use it, then you are not as efficient some way somehow. And so, if schools are actually teaching us how to get the jobs that we want, how to be more efficient in our career paths that we actually choose, then are they actually doing what they are supposed to be doing right now? Because you can't tell me I'm going to study what I have to study. Say, back in the day, if I wanted to study accounting, I'd study accounting and then go and do another 3-year program on how to use AI or on AI so I can probably be more efficient in the work field.
Yeah, but I think that's what I was getting into as well. They are fighting it, but in areas where they need to fight it. When you do an AI program, an AI course, because when you said 3-year program, most of them are courses. Because say in the corporate world, as you said, there are some, there are some, I've forgotten the word for work areas. There are some career paths that very heavily, that are already very heavily relying on AI. In those pathways, AI is already very heavily being incorporated into the programs. But as you said, because say a student who needs to learn how doing computer science for as their program,
Mhm.
going aspiring for um, a career that is very heavily relying on AI right now. Those courses are being included in the programs. They are being offered, but what is being discouraged is now using the AI to help the student code. You get what I mean? In the course that is meant for coding, they still want students to have that foundational base on top of you do that in the coding class, do coding in the AI course, do AI.
Now, you said something back there. Now, that's in school. You have your course where you're doing coding and you have your course where you're doing AI. What happens when you actually get out there and you have the free will to actually use AI in any way that you want to? Don't you use it for the coding?
But that's the thing. You are better at spotting issues. If you didn't know anything about that topic, those numbers, you would not have known AI did it wrong. But because you have this foundational knowledge, no, this is supposed to be done like this. Why did you do it like this? Interrogate the AI. You're not dumb. You know what you're doing. AI is now making the job faster. That's the thing. The goal is for AI to make our jobs faster, but not to leave us too dumb that we don't. AI is just doing everything for us.
You're right, Denise. You are right. AI is supposed to make the job faster, supposed to make everything more efficient. But do the AI makers think that's the goal? Or is their goal to actually make AI better than humans? Because the more you feed in these prompts, the more you argue with AI, it keeps this information to itself and it gets better. So, what is the future for human beings?
Once again, it does not just do it. You give it the rights to use your information. Companies are not just using information like that. But I understand the part about AI is getting better and it's being trained to get better. That is true. And in the years that are coming up, some jobs are going to be lost. Some positions are going to be lost. But the only way AI can get to that point is if there are people to train it,
Mm-hmm.
people to correct it. And right now, the only way for people to do that, train it to be better, it's when you think about it, can sound awful to think, well, if AI is trained so well, this job could be lost. People will not be needed for this specific job. True, that is very possible. Hence why AI courses are offered in schools because yes, we identify the whole we need the knowledge. AI is, but there are things AI might never be able to do without human guidance. Human guidance for someone to be hired, let's say to monitor an AI or to be the one to cross check or double check on things AI is doing, if ever. There are still people in the background who double check things, what's going on, and as said, with permission, of course. And someone could then say, well, you're going to get to a level where AI will not need to be double checked. But even then, when they find an AI to double check the AI's work, there will probably be someone who double checks the master AI's work. But the only way someone's going to be hired for such a job is if they know what the AI is doing in the first place. They're going to hire some person who did, let's say, who did a bachelor's of sciences in, like, let's say biology, to double check an AI that double checks coding. The person needs to understand what the code was supposed to in the first place. You need to have that background to even be hired for these jobs in the AI industry. So,
My deduction from whatever you've said is that AI is taking or has already taken entry level jobs. So if you're not as proficient, if you do not really have the certifications, you're not going to be hired. You've lost your job already. And what happens if you need experience to get the high level job? If it's already been taken and you don't really have anywhere to get experience from.
well, experience once again, people barely have experience managing these AIs, these machine learning systems, because they are so new. These are almost like new job opportunities as well. One thing I'm not arguing with is yes, AI is going to replace some jobs. Let's all accept it. It's not going anywhere. Don't lie to yourself. It's not going anywhere. AI is the future. Yes, I know. I sounded very
Denise is a robot right
aggressive.
now.
I know. I just
hmm
realized
hmm
I will
hmm
take a step back.
Yeah.
But point is, AI is here to stay. But once again, there are so many opportunities opening up in the AI world as well. And you're right about one thing. They do require more certifications, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But there are barely people who have studied for these jobs, who have specifically studied for these jobs. What you need most is something that complements this job well enough to a degree. You need to have some sort of understanding of what AI is.
Yeah. AI is here to stay. It's not coming, it's already here. Embrace it, learn how to use it, don't use it the wrong way, have your certifications, have your qualifications, and you'll be good with the future. You have nothing to be worried about. Okay, and that's been it for culture check, and that's been it for the cup and the crane.
If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you're watching on if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, don't forget to give us 5 stars and don't forget to check out our socials.
And don't forget to follow on Spotify. See you next week.